So what is decentralized business? Let's start there. I think with the onset of remote work, that is where it all begins. That is where companies are starting to say, how do I allow people to remote work? How do I know they're going to work effectively? How do I know they're not going to, waste time? That's where it starts, right? Can we get to a place where remote work is effective? Decentralized business is meaning that you have online transactions, that you don't have any doorway, that you don't have any register, that you don't have any physical cash experience, that everything happens digitally. That's going to be a core component of decentralized business. If you want to sell a product, I would think that you would have some element of third-party fulfillment. That way you wouldn't be tied to necessarily any sort of factory location, any office buildings. And speaking of office, there's really no office to be had in a decentralized remote business. People are working from home, people are working from co-working spaces, people go to coffee shops, wherever it is they like to work. That's the power of it, is working on your own, at your own leisure, in your own comfort. And I think that that's where we can tie it back to the remote work being effective or not. I do believe that yes, people will work less, but they'll likely work more effectively. I believe that, we spend a lot of time in the office. It's complete waste. I think people know that. I think that, employers try to get the max they can out of people, encouraging them to stay 8 hours at least, but that doesn't really motivate people. And I think what's going to happen is the appetite for remote work is going to create people's desire to have such remote work and therefore work hard because they want to keep their job. Because I think as we go into the decentralized business, we're also going to start to break down the closeness of employees. That's definitely going to have an effect, and you want to guard against that. But I think that businesses might rely less on certain employees and be more apt to be ready to change, if people aren't operating effectively. So it's going to be also about, keeping strong KPIs and good methods of measuring people's success. And I'm going to wrap up what is decentralized business as I'd also say it might be like very few full-time employees, or at least full-time employees are the minority. And I think that we're going into an area where we're going to have a lot more half-time, part-time, quarter-time employees. I think with decentralized business and the idea of having remote work available to you, that is going to be a trade-off, and that people are not going to need to purchase 40 hours. They're going to purchase 12 hours and expect what someone might have been doing in 20 or 40 hours. But I do believe remote work will create a new level of efficiency. I believe the best workers will go remote first. Remote work is sort of a responsibility and something you earn. So that's going to be an interesting element. So remote work, online transactions, third-party fulfillment, no office, no full-time employees. That's kind of what I'm describing as decentralized business. I don't know if anyone ever called it decentralized business before. I just made that up. But to me, it's like, oh, everyone's working separately and everyone can access the cloud data. And so therefore, the business is kind of existing everywhere, not just what used to be in a centralized hub or maybe a headquarters. Now, you could have a hybrid. You could have mostly remote workers and you could have a small hub. I think I might go that way. But again, as soon as you add on an office, you are going to add on a rent and a maintenance and everything that goes into having an office. And if you have an office, you're going to want to have employees. And if you have employees, you don't just want them coming a little bit. You want them coming a lot. So you go back to full-time employees. You see how that kind of relationship works there? Why would you want to create a decentralized business? Like, who would want to, why would people get this idea? Well, I think it comes from the lifestyle advantages of being not in an office 5 days a week, not having to commute, not having to be subject to that location where you can commute within a reasonable time, right? That's a lot of restraints on life. You can't do anything Monday to Friday. You have to live in a certain region. You have to own a car or you have to take some form of transit. That's not the lifestyle everyone wants to live. A lot of people don't want a car. A lot of people don't want to live in the city or near workplaces. So a lot of people don't want to commute. A lot of people don't want coworkers and office workers and that sort of water cooler culture. So lifestyle comes first, I'd say. It's the decision to maybe create kind of a smaller business, maybe an impactful business, but because you want to go decentralized, perhaps you don't think about building the biggest business. After lifestyle, it's obviously owner flexibility, which is similar to lifestyle, I guess, but it's kind of like the owner of the business. He's going to be able to make some decisions. Does he want to run the business from, Mexico, or does he want to run it from Costa Rica, or does he want to go to Puerto Rico, or does he want to go to London or Hong Kong? I think those are all possible potentially. So lifestyle, owner flexibility, what else? Team member flexibility. Your team gets flexibility. I mean, it's one thing if you want to work every day, all day. It's one thing if you want to, be in a beautiful office, but maybe your employees or your teammates don't. And would you want to not have access to a great pool of employees just because you weren't flexible on this point? I don't think so. So I think that, it offers flexibility not just to ownership, it offers flexibility to the whole team. As long as people can get their work done, there's no reason they can't work from their place of choice. And that's, again, I want to remind you on that worldwide pool of applicants. If you can reduce the need to have meetings, you can begin to reduce the need to hire in the same time zone. Right? That becomes one of the issues, is time zones and working effectively. Why create a decentralized business? Obviously, lower expenses on rent, your office and the maintenance of that, cleaning of that, heating of that, everything that goes into that. I mean, it's a big cost. So I think that's why you would do such a thing. Now, who can build a business like this? Because, you can't exactly create the next Tesla. That's a fact. And I said at the beginning that it's kind of for someone who's chasing lifestyle, a little bit smaller of a business, right? So like I said before, someone who can use third-party fulfillment. If you've got products, if you want to keep selling hard goods, consumer goods, you want to be able to utilize that. So, if you sell couches, can you do that? I'm not sure. Is that going to be easy enough to move couches around? Probably not. I think anyone who sells information, and I think more and more people should sell information. It's not just expertise information, it's also sort of template-based information. Or, there's a lot of people making money on Amazon. They sell books that don't actually have anything in them. They're just kind of blank books. Sometimes they're templates. So there's different elements of information, I would say, that you could sell. If you're selling attention, you can also have a decentralized business. So that's like content-based company selling advertising. I think anyone who operates solely in digital communications, you're going to have a good chance. You don't need a lot of face-to-face. If you provide internet-based services related to digital marketing, content creation, website design, graphic design, coding, anything in those areas, you're probably going to be able to build a decentralized business because all of those things happen online, so they're happening on laptops, right? And also you want to think about team size. Do you need a massive team, or can you get it down to pretty lean, right? You do want to have it pretty lean. In a decentralized business, management is difficult. You have less face-to-face time. You have less ability to sort of stay on top of people. So you really have to think about that hard. The keys to success when building a decentralized business, I mean, we talked about who, why, what are the benefits, but how do you really make this work? What are the absolute keys from my point of view? And I manage about 8 people remotely right now. No one is full-time. Everyone is either half-time or quarter-time. And it's great. We don't have a lot of churn. We have a lot of inspired people, I feel. So what I think is important is you have to build brand trust. Brand trust from the outside, brand trust from the inside. If you're not going to have an office space, everyone is existing in this very ethereal way that trust is going to be hard to establish. When you see someone every day and you see them come to work every day and you see a company who has a nice office and they keep it looking good, there's brand trust there. You don't have that with decentralized business. So you got to get a really good online experience. You have to really dial in what we call UX, user experience, or CX, customer experience. You have to think about mobile. You have to think about social media. You have to think about putting in a good funnel, right? And it's not a funnel to trick people. It's a funnel to properly establish who is your right customer and quickly bring them value, okay? I think that there's a lot to the online experience, and people often think that they can work 100% on maybe 40% of it, 70% on 40% of it. And then there's like this 20% where they did like 10% and they really just mail it in. All right. You have to think about the entire customer experience, and you have to make sure that that's a really great experience. You have to make sure that it's a complete experience. You have to make sure there's no holes or areas where brand trust is being perceived as low, right? So it's consistency. It's a good looking logo, a good looking website. It's clean hierarchy and clean navigation, okay? Fully committed to the online experience, digital only, not even digital first, digital only. If you're decentralized, you can't think about the real world. You can't think about your location. You have to think about being everywhere at once, and that's an online experience. Thirdly, you need to think about becoming a media company and building an audience as well as your business, right? So whether I'm doing my digital marketing agency work, whether I'm doing my educational work, I'm out here on YouTube becoming a media company, right? Like I can just do this on its own. Like this technically is its own thing. And if I went all in every day, maybe I can make money just doing this, right? So it's a media company on its own, but it's attached to a business and they work hand in hand, right? So I get questions from the content media company. You use that to improve your business, right? You use the attention from your media company and you show offers from your main business, right? So it's very important that you start thinking about adding the media component to your business and thinking about what it takes to build an audience. And that can be challenging. No one said that's easy, but it is a big part of having success in a decentralized way. Having content is for your team. When I make content, it's for my team. Like I actually want my team to watch this video. I want them to know how much I know about decentralized business and that I care about their lifestyle and that I care about how they feel about the flexibility. You make your content for your business employees first. And when you do that, you're really committing to them and you're showing them that you want them to be well educated, After my employees and teammates watch it, of course, my customers might watch it, my fans might watch it, and people on YouTube might watch it, right? There's a lot of layers there and there's a lot of elements. But building an audience is important because if you move your business, if you change your business, if you shift your business, you can bring your audience with you. If you build a business in one city and then you want to pick up, you sometimes have to lose the entire community built in that space. And that's one of the advantages of being online is you can connect with people permanently, essentially, right? So that goes really hand in hand with building an email list. You really want to get that email list going because you own that. That's your customer database. Email's not going anywhere anytime soon. So don't forget to become a media company and a restaurant, a media company and an agency, a media company and a farm, a media company and art gallery. And you will naturally get customers and you'll naturally build your business very effectively. So that's all I really have to say today about decentralized business. I think this will be an ongoing topic. I think it's really emerging in the last couple of years. I'd say within 3. So we're so early on in this, and I'm just discovering it as well and sharing what's worked for me. So some of the people I work with remotely are content creators, marketing managers, social media managers, writers, accountants, these sort of things. There's a lot of people who are wanting to work remotely now, and I think they're willing to work for less because of that flexibility. And I think people are going to stop thinking about just having one job, one income stream. I think you want 3 or 4. One of them is passive, 3 of them are active, something like that, If you enjoyed that clip, you'll love the full live stream. I've linked it here for you. And if you're looking for something for beginners, check this video out. It's an A to Z. See you guys next time.